So, hi Capricorn, my name is Chris and this is the December reading. Welcome, and I hope your frequency is right. Let's just take the center of the Celtic cross and take this card. That is the Victory March, Six of Wands. Joyful beginning here. So you achieve something, you get something done, there's a small victory, it doesn't need to be a huge victory. It's just a monthly reading, but there's happiness, there's joy. You're finishing something, that's the emphasis on closure, right? Finishing something, world card, and you have your triumph march, right? That's a good combination, right? Beautiful start. December. Let's keep the Seven of Swords. Let's just see. We don't need the Seven of Swords. We get the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is, again, also completion, but in the sense of defeat, right? But look at that contrast. So there is defeat. So something gets defeated. Someone gets defeated. Maybe some aspect of yourself get defeated. Yet it is a victory march, right? Six of Wands, world card, closure. There is a heaviness to it, but this needs to happen. That's the foundation here, right? Could be the end of a way of thinking, could be the end of relationship, could be, as I said, the end of something that used to belong to you, some belief, right? Some idea about how the world works or how you work or how relationships work or whatever. This idea is over. So you can't go back, but it's a victory march because you're arriving someplace else. And there's the Page of Cups holding this little cup towards you. And there's a fish lurking out of that cup. So something unexpected emotionally, right? This new spiritual adventure, there's the Hierophant in the past, right? So you end this closure, this in mastership, right? As the Hierophant having his little victory march, you're waking up from the old chapter. And 2026 is going to be, by the way, check out your yearly reading. I hope I have done it already. Otherwise, I will do it. 2026 will be the first time when the energies, the frequencies of the new paradigm are higher than the frequencies of the old paradigm. 2025 was the last time, so to speak, or is, when you watch this, for this December 2025. That's the last year. 2025 will be, have been the last year in which the frequencies of the old paradigm are stronger or were stronger than the newer ones, the new paradigm. And we are kind of new paradigm people here, right? We're empaths, right? So that's good news for us. You're looking forward to this, maybe to this. You're holding the world in your hand. I think you're waiting for 2026 when the frequencies are more in our favor, right? But then you need to have a plan, right? You're a little scared of the outside world, no wonder, right? There's this heavy ending and, you don't want to start something in the circle that is ending, if that makes sense to you, right? Maybe that's why the Eight of Swords is here in the outside position, which is mental blockage, right? Overthinking, right? Thinking too much, entertaining toxic ideas in your head, right? Worst case scenarios, things like that, right? Worrying too much, overthinking energy. But there's also the Ten of Swords. So maybe this is what is ending, but maybe you need to end this for yourself, right? Before you start a new circle. There's the Ace of Pentacles. So there is potential in this new chapter, right? For wealth, abundance, and prosperity. Yeah, but there's the Tower. And first, there's the King of Pentacles, by the way. So you're going to actualize this potential. So, okay, so it's not the yearly reading, it's the December reading. So December is going to be happy and heavy at the same time, right? For whatever reason. there's something that you need to finish. There's something that there's a bomb that needs to explode, right? You need to drop it. You need to say what's what. You need to state your boundaries, communicate, speak your truth, right? Radically so. That's a little uncomfortable. Maybe that's why you're overthinking it. But it looks like me, Swords energy, and the Tower. 10 to the 8 of Swords. Speak your truth, right? Just be unapologetically you, speak your truth, and maybe that's a Tower moment, right? Where you leave a structure that became too tense, too tight, too narrow for you, for yourself or for your soul, so to speak, right? So it's not, I think you know exactly what you need to do, because there's the victory march in the center of it, right? You maybe already initiated it when you watch this, right? It's a closure, it's a red line in the sand, so to speak, right? Where you say, okay, this is the boundary, we're not going to debate this. Something like that, right? A really strong statement, speaking your truth. And then, yeah, I mean, this is the victory march, right? The Tower and the victory march, right? Coming together with a new spiritual adventure, something new, something unexpected that brings joy and happiness maybe back into your life, you know? You're waking up to something, and you're waking up from that, because this is you basically finally accepting something that you cannot change, right? Radical acceptance, that's what it also is, the 10 of Swords, right? And once you have radically accepted how the world works, how certain people are, you can't change people, you can only change yourself. And if you, you know, sometimes it's better to be alone, by the way, than to be with the wrong people, right? And this is a truth. It's not a comfortable truth, right? If you have to actually live up to it for a moment, right? Or for a while. But if you truly accept that as a truth, you cannot change other people, but you can distance yourself and choose not to be in their drama, into their BS, whatever, right? And really accepting that, you don't need to make a big statement out of it. You just draw your consequences, right? And first we have to accept it, and that's kind of like a defeat. But if we actualize our wisdom, right? There's the Hierophant here, right? That's the sage, that's the wise man, that's the Pope, that's someone who has spiritual awareness and wisdom, right? But you have to put this wisdom into action, and before you put it into action, you have to accept the situation as it is. And then you're waking up, and then you're seeing your possibilities, and then you're seeing, hey, it's better to be alone than to be with bad people, right? So, and you can do whatever you want. You can focus your attention to what you want to create, right? The Ace of Pentacles is here, Page of Cups, and you seem to have plans, right? So you seem to have an idea where you want to go, right? But before you go, is this a new connection with the Page of Cups here, a complete new change where you want to go, right? Because there's just this connection, right? The Two of Wands guy, guess where he's standing? He's standing on the Tower. And the Tower is going to come down. That means you're leaving the planning board, right? And you're taking action. And I think you're actualizing this Nine of Pentacles, which is wealth, abundance, and prosperity, in its fullest potential. But you have to do something for it and actually go for it, right? So December is all about stating your truth, accepting what you can't change, waking up from that and really taking action, speaking your truth, setting your boundaries. And then you realize, oh yeah, that feels actually really good, right? Because now I have time to be as free, focus on what I want to create. And there's potential for wealth abundance and prosperity in what it is that you want to create, right? You just have to do it joyfully, right? And all these worries about, you just stop that overthinking thing, and you're having a very successful December, right? The moon is clarifying the Six of Wands. The World card is clarified. That's, double underlining the World card and definitively emphasizing the Ten of Swords 2 times then, right? So you're done with something, right? And sometimes you don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, you don't need to try to understand. You just have to be done with it, right? And move on. And that's such a moment here. There's such a moment here. Just be done with it and focus. You're freeing yourself, but it's going to, it has an impact, right? 2 times the Tower with the Ten of Swords. 2 times the Ten of Swords, 2 times the Tower, right? Gliding over to something better. Wow, okay, you're not just, there's the Emperor clarifying the Hierophant. So this is the spiritual leader, the Hierophant, basically. And the Emperor is he's all 4 kings rolled into one, basically, right? He's the king of the kings, so to speak, right? And the Emperor is clarifying the Hierophant. So there's wisdom, there is almost sage-like wisdom, I would say. With the Emperor clarifying the Hierophant in your recent past, where you really, and let's not forget, you're showing here at the bottom of the deck, there's the King of Pentacles, right? So another very masculine energy where you just state your truth, I say it again, be unapologetic about it, or just radically accept something that you cannot change. Yeah, and then you just go for it, but you go for your plans, you go for your ideas. There's a joyful offer from the universe. So follow your bliss, follow your joy, do something that you like to do. And I think there's a lot of potential for wealth, abundance, and prosperity in that. Justice, clarifying the Two of Wands, you totally deserve this. There's a new consciousness here with the Ace of Swords. Shows up all the time, the Ace of Swords, in pretty much all the readings. Full card with the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, and you're just waking up from something that is, this is not a tower that you should be worried about when this tower falls, right? Because this tower is, look what, there's the Judgment card, right? You got the Judgment card here at pretty much what is happening next, right? So you're just freeing yourself from something, and you either be done with something or you stop it or close it, right? So pretty intense reading, but pretty not unexpected for the end of 2025, right? So let's just see what else we got. There's the Orion Gate. That's the Blue Angel Oracle deck. It's number 33. Let's just see what this is all about. Service, okay. What is more important, being of service to others or being of service to yourself? This is a reoccurring dilemma for you to reconcile. Know that service to others can only be sustained when you look after yourself and your own needs. You cannot honor life and the universe when you do not honor yourself. Acknowledge this great truth quietly within your loving heart. Does it not make sense to you? Stand before the light of love and allow it to dissolve any lingering traces of guilt. It is possible to be of service to humanity without sacrificing your own needs. All it requires is love, great love. And this channel is called Philautia because sometimes you learn self-love and self-respect the hard way. So what this is, this Orion gate is all about is boundaries, right? So you have to take care of yourself. You have to love yourself before you can give to other people, right? So you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So maybe someone needs to know that, right? And maybe you have to tell that to someone. Kind of looks like it. That Swords energy. It's also speech. It's also speaking your truth. It's communication, right? And I'm picking one quote, and what do I get? In order for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken with love. In order for the truth to be heard, even if this truth might hurt a little, but in order for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken with love. So as much as I said, go communicate clearly and tell them, right? Not, by the way, don't engage in dramas, right? Just tell them your boundaries, right? And yeah, right? That's okay. No is a complete sentence, by the way, right? You don't need to be rude about it. That's what I'm trying to say. In order for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken with love. But it must be spoken with love. You cannot find peace by avoiding life. Virginia Woolf. Okay, so you have to state your ground and say what you want, what you don't want. If there's something that disturbs you, then speak up, right? You can do that in a respectful manner. You can do that, as I said, right? In order for the truth to be heard, it must be spoken with love. It must be spoken, it must be spoken, not screamed, right? And you don't make it into something dramatic, right? Just be very clear and stern and authentic and speak your truth, period. That's too heavy. Yeah, learn to look with an equal eye upon all beings, seeing the one self, God, basically, in all. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, whatever. This reading is more about stating your truth and doing it in a calm, peaceful, clear, and consistent way. You just speak your truth, basically. That's your success, that's closure, that's wisdom, not to get carried away by emotions, not getting carried away by passion, anger, fear, guilt, shame, whatever low frequencies there are. Not getting carried away with that lower frequencies. Being the wisdom, being the sage, being the hierophant, right? All that wisdom and knowledge turned into wisdom, now turned into action, right? And again, that's the success. And you got bigger fish to fry, you got something beautiful going, concentrate on that. You cannot find peace by avoiding life. So it's not really an option not to say what you think. Because if you want to be in this world, you have to speak your truth, right? And avoiding life is not where you find peace. Virginia Woolf, by the way, is that quote from. Yeah, and that's all I got. And I hope it resonates with you. If it does, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And now goodbye. Ciao.